ladies and gentlemen, it seems like last week we were talking about a terror attack on the streets of the UK. Oh wait, that's because it was last week. Well, it happened again. Saturday evening, Saturday night, in London, 7 people dead, scores more injured again, as a result of a van and then stabbing attack on London Bridge and also at Borough Market. And there's not much more to say than we said last week, honestly. We're just going to let the show go on. It would be wrong to stop it and to stop doing what we do because, that way the bastards win. So we're going to talk about a science fiction show because that's what we do best. And with that in mind, to talk with me about Light of the Land, this week's episode, I've got 2 special guests. Firstly, to my virtual left, his only crime was to constantly think about mirrors. It's FreezingInferno.
Okay, that was a good one.
I told you. And to my virtual right, I'm contractually obligated to say something nice about her. It's Kat. Good to have you back on the podcast, Kat.
Okay, that one was good.
And now I've said the good thing about it, we've fulfilled our contractual obligations, let the show begin. So, Lay of the Land. Oh dear.
A moment of silence for our hopes and dreams for this trilogy.
Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah.
Maybe not do that
Okay,
the week after a
that's enough
terrorist
because
attack.
they weren't that big anyways.
Maybe don't do that after the week of a terrorist attack, just saying.
Okay, we'll cut this bit. Cut back to
No, we won't cut this bit. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're all friends here, I would like to think. So, yeah, funny enough how you were saying last week, I hope Toby Whithouse doesn't heck it up, and that he hecked it up.
You motherfucker! You had one job.
You had one job, Whithouse.
I fucking look. I didn't go into this wanting to hate it. I really did want to like it. And that's a telephone. On first viewing, I was, there was some sort of stuff in there that worked for me, even if a lot of the things I wanted to see didn't get followed up on. But then I watched it again, then I took in some critique, and no.
I take it
Kat,
you also had bad thoughts about this one, Kat. Just that long sigh in the background there.
We tried so hard. And we came so far.
We all had the same idea.
But in the end, it doesn't really matter because he fucked it up.
We all had the same idea for the exact same joke at the exact same time.
Of course we did.
Now that's symmetry for you.
That's some. You see, that's some fucking mirroring for you right there.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it, but it is. So
See,
this
the mirrors have such a power that Rainiac still hasn't noticed that Frez changed the icon of our chat into a mirror.
Is that what that was supposed to be? I thought it was like a sort of a robot eye thing.
He changed it like weeks ago.
I know, I thought it was like a robot.
You dumbass! It's a mirror!
That's how much I've been desensitized to this shit. I don't even recognise it anymore. My brain is blocking it out. So this disappointment started all the way back at the intro. Oh, not the intro to this podcast, though yes it did, but I'm talking about the intro of the episode.
And, it didn't have to. It didn't really have to. The opening monologue is actually quite nice, I found. Because, well, as I've said, you can give Peter Capaldi almost any monologue, and he'll knock it out of the park, acting-wise. And this was a nice monologue showing Monks World. And then they do the one thing that I didn't want them to do. One of the two things I didn't want them to do. If you recall, I do believe I said I wanted Monks World to be interesting. The whole fears and efficient thing. The last thing I wanted for it to be was some sort of nightmare hell dystopia. And within the first 3 minutes, what do we get? A fucking woman dragged off to the labor camps for thought crime.
It's literally called like memory crime or something.
Yeah, it's very thinly veiled because at this point I'm really not going to mince words because I don't have the highest opinion of Toby Whithouse. I don't think Toby Whithouse has the highest opinion of us. Like, subtlety is not a thing he's really interested in, it seems.
I'd like to think he watched our podcast or listened to our podcast last week and heard you sort of the impassioned play, please don't make this a George Orwell dystopia, and then he went, "Happy birthday, Fresno!"
My birthday's not even until September.
I know.
He runs over to Moffat's office, he kicks down the door, and he leans in. 3 nobodies from England and the Americas just said shit about me. Run the bad cut.
The bad cut? I was going to
The
say,
bad cut.
The idea that he just changed the episode 6 days before transmission, I don't think that happened. But
Okay, right.
No, see, there's the bad cut, and then there was the worst cut. We got the bad one.
God's sakes. Good.
we go full on 1984 here. There's no two ways.
I mean,
about
look, I'm just gonna say, like, the running theme of this episode and its disappointments is that it does shit where doing different shit would be massively more interesting, and was kind of hoped for and expected, but then it just went and did the most drab, boring shit. For example, the idea of Monk's world actually being better than our world in some aspects would have been an interesting thing, and given a bit of weight to the whole, no, but it's wrong, I need to change it. Like, you know, sort of Bill struggling against the system, even though it's technically better, but even though because she wants to change back everything and get back to normal.
There were some little touches I did like about this introduction, though. Mostly the opening montage. The opening monologue.
But no. Instead, Monk's world is the most drab, depressing place. Everyone's wearing black. It's all shot in gray, and it's just a bleak place where people are literally dragged off of the streets.
So, it's like how London is now.
Oh,
That's too soon.
Oh my god.
That's too soon.
London's always grey and rainy and depressing. When I went there, it literally rained for the entire fucking time, and I was there for like nearly a week.
Jesus.
That's the United Kingdom in general, though. Basically.
And I was thinking of that Arthur Vine. You gotta go buy some sunglasses, because we don't fucking sell them!
That is a great Vine.
Yeah, can I say something that would have made me accept the whole dystopian Monks world would be if something like whenever Bill keeps losing control partway through the thing, right? She keeps thinking, she goes into the Monk's idea and then she goes into the truth and she's like going back and forth the whole time. Yeah. Something that I think would have been really cool would be if we did have the dystopian world, but every time Bill went into the Monk's reality, I'll call it, the world changed for her. Her perception of the world changed for her. And they saw that utopia.
That would have been neat.
That sounds neat, yeah.
Yeah, so we could have the best of both worlds, where everybody sees this great utopia, and they think that everything's going great, but in reality, they're in fact being enslaved and doing whatever the fuck they're doing. I honestly don't know.
Absolutely terrible. Like, there's there's no trust in us to realize that, oh, this is terrible because it's not
It's like,
usual.
what even is the point? I mean, usually when it comes to dystopian stuff, there's a reason for it. Like, all the people want this mineral mined, so they enslave everybody to mine this mineral, or they want everybody to have no emotions, so they make sure everybody has no emotions, so everything runs efficiently. This doesn't seem to have a purpose for it being dystopian, other than just because
not at all.
For it to be bad.
There is no real purpose to it, and that's part of the problem. There are some neat little touches in the opening few minutes, which I did like. Most of that Easter eggs and that. The mentions of the Daleks, the Cybermen, and the Weeping Angels, and how the Monks had defeated all of them. It's just repurposed footage, but it was nice.
Yeah.
It's just a Dalek exploding from, I think, into the Dalek, and a Cyberman getting disintegrated from Nightmare in Silver, and some indistinguishable footage of the Weeping Angels. Also, Magpie Electricals was a nice little throwback to, of all things, Series 2 and the Idiot's Lantern.
Yeah, I remember that one, sort of, kind of, not really. I remember it had to do with TVs and electrical signals.
And anything gets into a TV, and starts stealing faces. It's kind of middle of the road stuff for that series.
All right, well, moving on. Because that's weird.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. It is a bit weird, but that's not the most weird thing Doctor Who has ever done. But another thing I did like is that Bill's got like a photo frame in her little flat in the monk's world, but the picture's of a monk. Yeah. So it's obviously been replaced.
That's something else I don't get about this world. She's their psychic link, right?
Yes.
She is friends with the Doctor and can go help him, right?
I guess.
Why the fuck wouldn't they move her closer to the pyramid and keep her fucking safe?
Overconfidence?
Happy. Yeah, there's overconfidence, and then there's the fact that something could still happen to her. She could accidentally step out into the street and get run over by a bus.
That's a very good point I hadn't considered.
She could get on a plane and the plane could crash. Something could happen to her. And they're just letting her go wherever the fuck she wants to.
You've just stumbled across a plot hole I didn't even think was a plot hole.
It makes no sense that they just leave her alone.
That's impressive.
And something that Fred's pointed out is that part way into the thing, they say that in order to keep on the psychic connection, it gets passed down through their kids.
Yeah, Missy says that.
Bill's a lesbian.
Oh.
So at some point, the monks would probably have to go, hey, Bill, go get you some dick. Go on.
I don't think they quite put it like that.
No, but that'd still be exactly what they're telling her to do. Otherwise, she won't have kids.
I hate to break this to you, but if they're powerful enough to restore a man's an immensely powerful alien being's eyesight and manipulate history, I think they could probably arrange to shut Bill up with somebody.
Okay, I don't think that Bill's going to give birth to the next Jesus.
That's
also,
not what I'm saying.
Pretty sure.
I'm saying they can manipulate it so she falls in love with someone who's not female.
I know, that's what I just said. She'd go get herself some dick.
But not quite like that, however.
I'm also wondering where her foster mother was. Because she just seemed to be completely gone.
Well, is she dead?
I don't know.
Because I'm assuming the people killed, it's not like an alternate reality, so the people killed in the Monks timeline remain dead. I take it.
I assume.
There was no altering of a timeline. It was just the monks made it look like they'd been here forever, but they hadn't.
Yeah, it's like how people take pictures of Hitler giving a speech and they Photoshop people into the crowd. It's that's essentially what the monks did.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, not the more you've talked about this, the more I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, that's just...
So not a great start for this story.
No.
And then it got worse.
Oh.
Yeah.
Considerably worse. We had it started off okay with, Bill Noddle hatch a plan to get the Doctor back. Break him out.
I will just mention that what we were about to talk about, in my notes, I have written this fucking scene.
Is that what you've written?
Well, that's not all I've written about the scene. But that's just the setup. Once we get to the twist.
Oh god, the twist. So as I said, this starts off fine. This starts off fine. Bill and Noddle got this grand plan to break the Doctor out of wherever he's being held prisoner. That's fine. Mm-hmm. That's actually quite good. That's actually one of the better parts of the episode. With the whole, we've got this guy. His son's been sent to a labour camp for 10 years for possessing a comic book.
Again, what the fuck are you even doing?
Yeah, that is.
You're not even You're not even trying to make it seem like this is a perfect little world.
I can only assume that somehow the comic book must have talked about some historical event, like how Captain America comics would talk about World War II and Hitler and all that, and it just didn't have the monks in it, and they've sort of like banned everything that didn't have them in it, and they rewrote everything.
That'd be great. Well, I am a proponent of ambiguity, but if you're gonna do a world like this, there's just some things you gotta say.
There's not really room for ambiguity in a dystopian setting.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the point.
That's the point. You gotta explain why this shit's bad. You can't just say, "Oh, we went to jail for having comic books."
But anyway, the Doctor. Why indeed? The Doctor is being held prisoner on this big boat. That's good. Mm-hmm. Bill breaks in. She's like, "I'm here to get you out. Get going." And he calls for the guards. Surprise number one. And it looks like he's working with the monks. Now, I would not have been adverse to him actually being tricked into working with the monks. That would have been an interesting story.
Oh, what? Yeah, an interesting story.
It would have been an interesting story. I mean, he obviously would have had to have been reversed and corrected by the end, because obviously you can't have the Doctor working with the bad guys all the time. But that would have been interesting.
I mean, we're playing around with the status quo, and we're making the entire universe, a world where the monks rule. So yeah, you could play with that shit like in a one-part episode.
But anyway, Bill just loses it completely, grabs a gun from one of the soldiers, points at the Doctor, says, "Have you really joined the monks, or is this all a trick?" He says, "I've joined the monks," and she shoots him.
Oh boy.
And then the Doctor regenerates.
Which was in the trailer. This was in the series trailer, right?
It's the series trailer, but not the next time. They cut down the next time stuff.
Yeah.
And I fell for this. I feel like an idiot for doing this, but I fell for this.
Oh.
I was like, "Oh my god, are they somehow managed to keep this secret? Is this Capaldi regenerating for real? Is this going to be like a one-time regeneration and then it reverts, but we know who the next actor is?" Because that would have been amazing. I was like, kudos to you, BBC. Oh, you motherfuckers.
See, I fell for it too, but only because I don't remember a fucking time where the Doctor was able to make his hand go all shiny with regeneration power.
The Witch is familiar?
What the fuck is it? Not Time Angels. The one where Amy and Rory leave. The Angels
take Manhattan.
Yes, thank you. That one.
Didn't that usually have bad shit happen?
Yes. Maybe it will.
Maybe it will.
That would be interesting if there was a consequence to this, but I don't think there is. It's a fake out.
There is a consequence. We all fucking hate it.
Yeah, okay. Who wants to rant about this shit first? Should I go? Should you go? Should she go? What?
You rant first. We'll all take equal turn to rant.
Okay. So this is, again, Toby Whithouse pissing off the fucking, savvy, clever Doctor Who viewer who's used to sussing out bullshit. They know if they watch the trailers that there was that regeneration scene. They know that if they watch the next time trailer, there was the implication that maybe Bill and Missy were going to join up. That was kind of hinted. Would you disagree with that for the next time trailer?
Not at all.
So, there was that implication, there was that idea, maybe they do this, maybe they do that, maybe there's an interesting idea here. No, we were just fucking with you. And you fell for it. Ha. It was a test. It was all just a big fucking lie. God, it's just... Okay. So I don't mind the idea of a fake out. I really don't. But there's something here, I'm trying to work my thoughts together here. It's like shitty alchemy. Like the law of equivalent exchange. If you fucking substitute a narrative for another one, you have to make sure that whatever the hell you're faking out and whatever the hell that you're writing to replace the fake out that you did has to be at least as interesting as what you're implying, if not more so. But for all the interesting, the Doctor might regenerate into some actor we've never heard of, he might regenerate into some person temporarily, we might get a preview of this, or man, the Doctor might be evil. And Bill and Missy might team up. All we get is this bullshit fucking fake out that doesn't please anybody. And, well, one more point I'd like to make, and it's another classic Who thing, and I did make this comparison before the flood happened, is that it feels like a cynical Robert Holmes script, because Robert Holmes was a writer in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and sometimes he didn't like his briefs, so he gave you exactly what you asked for, but it was a really cynical take on it. Whithouse writing feels like that, but without, the fact that Robert Holmes was a really fucking good writer.
He was.
And
Whithouse feels more to me like he's taking our hands and saying, okay, come on, kids, let's go have some fun on this adventure. And he has to explain everything to us like we're 6.
There's also that too. He doesn't really, it just feels like the most cynical. He doesn't trust the audience to get any complex bullshit.
Do you know what he feels like to me?
What?
He feels like a magician who does a trick for you, then immediately shows you how it's done.
So he's a mass magician?
I guess.
Because I love those fucking specials 20 years ago.
I guess he's the mass magician, only much more shit.
So, yeah, there's that scene, and then there's the whole fucking idea that he's emotionally manipulating Bill. And all of this is for what exactly? Like, he's been sitting there for 6 months on TV saying, the monks are your friends. Please turn over all your memory crime family members to the monks. Trust the monks, bless the monks. Go on, be good. Report everybody. I'm evil now. All for what? Just to test Bill and make her shoot him and think that she's lost everything. And all to go,
there is another reason why he was there for the past 6 months. Mm-hmm. He was recruiting the soldiers.
Yeah.
Which he needs to storm the pyramid. So that bit I'm fine with. That's a reason for him to stay there and recruit people on the inside and bring down the monks from the inside. Okay.
But you're still confronted with the fact that for 6 months the Doctor literally had people sent to fucking labor camps. Not sent.
Indirectly, but yes.
Indirectly, but still. And he fucked around with his companion. Remember when he fucked around with Clara's emotions?
Oh,
and
God.
she bitched him out for it, rightly so, and it was one of the best moments of that episode. And of series 8.
Good moment of that episode.
Well, that's debatable, but it's a good episode. But it's a good moment.
Only good part of that episode.
A good moment. Whatever.
We get it.
We'll agree to disagree on this, but
I don't agree with that.
We'll agree that you're wrong. Okay.
The PTA disbanded.
No, but really, it's just. And it brings to mind the worst excesses of the Colin Baker era. It's not quite the Doctor strangling the life out of his own companion, but my fucking God, the emotional manipulation bullshit is up there. And that's all I had to say about that fucking scene. One of you, please take
Can, as Fresno said it all for you, have you got more to rant about this particular regeneration fake-out scene?
Yeah, I really wish they had handled this differently with the Doctor, and I kind of wish that he had been sort of under mind control, but because he was a Time Lord, it was easier for him to break out, but he was still flip-flopping back and forth, kind of like in Nightmare in Silver with Mr. Clever.
Hey, there's an episode that I've probably cooled down. I was really
it's like, obviously I don't want Mr. Clever again, but I would like it so that he's going between the two. And the two halves of them are, fighting against each other.
Frankly, Kat, given the shit that I know we're going to bring up in the climax of this episode, I'm honestly surprised he didn't pull that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will defend a few little bits, again, of this particular scene. But firstly, the main reason I fell for it, not just because I was invested in the story at that point, and then this very quickly took me out of it.
In the story.
This very quickly took me out of it. Was the music. It was a brand new, never before heard musical score I thought, hang on a minute, is this the regeneration music? Is this been specifically written for the regeneration?
Okay,
No!
Brainiac's talking about the music. Take a shot, people.
That's his mirrors?
Yes.
Stop right there. But
no.
The main reason, as I said already, why I didn't like this is there were more interesting possibilities they could have done with this regeneration. And they kind of paint themselves into a corner, and I appreciate that. There was no really perfect way to get out of this. But they could have been better than just laughing at us. I mean, actually laughing at us.
I mean, really?
That's now the second time.
I know where they could have gotten out of this. Not fucking doing it.
Yes.
There you go.
But if they had to do it, they could have had it where the regeneration is legitimate. It happens. And he regenerates into the next actor to play the role. Like, somehow that's already been known and kept hidden for months. And we get a preview of who the next Doctor will be. That would have been a really big talking point. They didn't do that.
I mean, for Christ's sakes, 4 years ago we screamed about Peter Capaldi's eyebrows.
Yes. The difference being we knew Peter Capaldi would be the next Doctor at that point.
Hey, wait, I just thought about this. Did the Doctor ever talk to Bill about regeneration at all?
Nope.
No.
So she thought she was legitimately killing him.
Yes.
Wait, I just realized, more to the point, him doing the glowy thing has basically no fucking,
no
significance to Bill. It's just to fake us out.
The glowy thing.
Oh, those bitches. I hate them.
Yeah.
You would have.
Yeah. I'm struggling to find good things to talk about this. There are a couple of very funny moments. I don't think they could have done. I don't think they could have done regeneration. They could have had it where, like we said, it was still a simulation, and because the Doctor regenerating is a situation you could not actually predict, it broke the simulation. You can't predict something that hasn't happened yet. Or something that's got an infinite amount of variables like regeneration. That would have been. But
sort of a world where they sort of like how the Matrix did it, but slightly different, where they keep trying and Bill keeps escaping, going to the Doctor, and they take down the pyramid, and then the monks start over again. They erase everybody's mind and start over again.
So basically, Person of Interest 6741 again.
I was just thinking that.
Well, not quite that. They'd still be moving through time, but people's minds would be reset. So they would think it's April 3rd when actually it's June 2nd.
So basically 6741.
I guess. I don't fucking know.
But there were a couple of very humorous moments, even when we were being laughed at by the characters and the writers. I love the bit where he said that they all swapped their ammunition for blanks. You didn't, Dave? Well, that would have really blown the plug, wouldn't it?
I rang up the kitchen, so you better go down there.
Yeah, that was good. And also, Bill, of course.
Nardal's scream.
Yeah. Oh my god, I will beat this. That's the second time now she's said. She's not quite said that word. But
can you say hang on, can you say shit at that airtime on BBC?
No, that's why they cut her off.
Okay,
but you can imply it.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah.
Also the boat. Fucking ramming the boat is great.
Oh, his laugh.
Yeah, I mean, Capaldi makes it's almost like Tom Baker-ish faces in this one. Just the manic, gleeful grins.
His maniacal laugh is brilliant.
Oh, it's good. That's good. That's one of the few good things about this episode.
That's a good way to segue into what we're going to talk about next, because another one of the really good things of the episode, in my estimation anyway, was Missy. The return of Missy.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
Well, it's odd that she was missing entirely from the pyramid at the end of the world.
Yeah.
Given the 7 extremists, but it was good to see her here, and I think Michelle Gomez more or less made up for her absence in that last story. But there are also problems with this as well.
Wait, okay. So, again, with the whole narrative substitution thing, the assumption is that Bill and Missy's going to get out and help defeat the monks, deal with the devil bullshit. Doctor Who's done it before with the Master, the Pertwee. But here's what we get. Here is a summary of Michelle Gomez's involvement in this episode, minus the ending. Missy, how do we defeat the monks? Oh, you just kill Bill. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
She's not wasted, but she is underutilized.
Go find 5 women named after snakes and kill Bill.
I knew that was coming. As soon as you said kill Bill, no. I knew that was coming, but I could do nothing to stop it.
I am the queen of obvious jokes.
I saw the obvious joke truck coming towards us at great speed, but I could do nothing.
And I crashed the fucker.
Yeah.
You make a good point. You make a good point in that everything she suggests is just completely sidelined.
I mean, it's classic Doctor Who. Here's a thing you can do, but it'll be bad. Oh, no, I'm Doctor Who. I'm going to break the rules and do a different thing and save the day.
So that's
what I would have liked? If at first she suggested kill Bill, and then the Doctor's reprimanding her, no, you're trying to be different now. And so Missy comes up with this off-the-wire idea of, hey, maybe they could break into the pyramid and find the central computer or whatever, and figure out how to stop the broadcast from there. And, essentially she comes up with the plan.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it.
And she would have been useful.
That would have given her actual relevance to the plot, rather than, hey, here's a way you can stop them. No! Okay!
But there is one thing about Missy's scenes I really did enjoy, and it's the whole concept of her trying to reform from being evil.
Which isn't going to take.
No, but it's really interesting.
Oh, yeah. But I can't judge it yet.
She's actively trying to reform. I mean, she is actively trying to reform. And when the Doctor says, the fact you just suggested I kill my companion shows that nothing has changed, he says, but I have changed, because, like it or not, I've just saved this planet if you do this, and I've done this for the very reason that I'm trying to change. She challenges him. Mm-hmm. And yes, if they did do what she suggested, it would have stopped the monks. I mean, it's horrible.
And to be completely fair, this is how she's done before. She doesn't know another way, for sure.
Yes.
I guess. But, I mean, she's just as smart as the Doctor, so if the Doctor can come up with this bullshit, so can she.
Yeah, but yeah. I like the fact that she called him out on being arrogant and self-centered as well. Mm. And she's the only one that's prepared to do the things that need to be done to save the planet on this occasion.
I did like the ending, though. The ending was good with her.
Oh, the ending scene was great.
Well, there's one thing I liked out of the Missy scene, though. It didn't have anything to do with Missy. Was the idea of the consent being a psychic link that made Bill tether points. That's
Didn't we talk about that last week? Didn't I sort of suggest that might be the case?
Maybe. I think you did. But, well,
who knows?
Not that I'm bragging.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, to be honest, I'm not bragging because we got this episode, so nothing to brag about.
I mean, I guess that's an interesting idea, but then you run into the problem, the fact it's passed down for generations, and you've currently implanted it in the mind of a lesbian.
Get some dick, Bill.
Please stop with that, please.
No.
I don't like the fact that the trailer... I'm never going to trust the Doctor Who trailer again, by the way, but I don't like the trailer sort of hints that we might get a Missy Bill team-up. But hopefully, there's still time to have that team-up in a future episode. I mean, there's not much time, but hopefully there is. Even if it's just a little bit of an episode.
The Clara and Misty team-up was pretty fun. It wasn't perfect, but it was fun.
Oh, yeah.
And now we would have had awesome, sassy as fuck Bill with Missy. And no.
No, we can't do that. That'd be interesting.
Not this time, anyway. Maybe in the future, who knows?
Right.
I'm holding out hope. It's obvious that Missy's going to come back because of that whole ending kind of sets that up, that she's remembering the people she's killed and she's experiencing real grief and remorse over it. I love that shot of her eyes in the clouds.
Yep.
That's a really nice shot, and almost kind of mirrors like the Doctor Who title sequence.
Hey!
Hey! I just realised what I've done there.
That was your own fault.
Yeah. The air horns are going off as we speak. Another thing is that Missy says, I have my own adventures too. That's a spin-off that needs to happen yesterday. We need the Missy adventures. Big finish, make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, I would like more Michelle Gomez. No.
Big finish, make it happen, please.
I mean, we still haven't gotten our Strax and whatever the lizard lady's name is.
Yeah. We haven't got the Paternoster Trio spin-off that we should have gotten. So it's probably not going to happen, but a man can dream. Before we go into the resolution of this episode, because in some respects that's the thing I had the most problem with, even with the fake out regeneration. A little bit of talk about the monks.
Oh yeah.
What was their goal exactly? We still don't know.
To take over the world and
Pinky. Yes, but why?
Because... Seriously, you need a fucking purpose.
What do they get out of this?
Love.
They don't get power because they already have a fuck ton of it. I mean, they were able to restore the Doctor's eyesight. They don't need any minerals or anything because we never see anybody transporting everything. I think they just really hate fucking fashion and wants everybody to wear black.
I did have one thought on what their goal might be. What their purpose might be for doing this whole scheme. We know from Missy that they've done this to other worlds in the past, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
From her little bit, I just pushed a little girl into a volcano and saved the planet. Classic Missy, that. We know that the people that transgress are taken to a labour camp for 10 years. Could it therefore follow that they want slave labour?
Then just take everybody. Why even bother with this?
Yeah, why bother with the lie?
I don't know. I'm trying to defend the indefensible here, guys. Cut me a bit of slack.
I don't know. It's just, and it's not even really a Whithouse problem too, because if they wanted to go with this angle, Harness or Moffat could have expanded on that in Extreme Mr. Pyramid.
Yeah, especially in Pyramid.
Yeah.
Like Extremis was kind of the preview for the monks before we got them proper in Pyramid and then the Lie of the Land.
It's like, I would have believed if the monks had made up a religion with them as the god and had everybody worship them, because that would have fit into the whole, we want to be loved thing. But no, all they did was build a bunch of fucking statues that just continued the psychic link and did nothing with it.
It's just such a shame to see potential go to waste like this.
Well, that's what you get when you order Whithouse!
Not just Whithouse. I mean, as we said, the monks were not a Whithouse invention, they were Moffat's.
True, but, I mean, they gave him the goddamn baton for the finish line.
I was worried as soon as I realised it was Whithouse solo and not Whithouse with Moffat also guiding him.
Oh, I was worried. I said it.
Yes, I know.
And I was right!
The monks...
This trilogy, it's been like... Extremis was a nice date with a great guy. He took you out. You had fun. And then you came home to Pyramid at the end of the world. And you still had a great time. You had coffee. And then you get to the Lie of the Land. And it turns out he has erectile dysfunction and can't do shit with it.
Oh my god. I thought you were going to say, and then it gets to Lie of the Land and then the Pope walks in.
No, this is a different cockblock.
Oh.
That's not where I thought you would go with that, but the less said about that, the better. The monks display some new abilities in this episode, but that too is mostly pointless.
I like their shield thing, I guess.
The
also,
coral
hang
shields.
Hang on, one of them got shot dead. You're telling me these idiots can teleport you off a plane and stop a missile in midair, but oh no! I got hit by a bullet! Oh, I'm dying, I'm bleeding out, Carl, I'm dead.
Yeah. It just makes no sense. They can shoot lightning from their hands to Palpatine people.
Oh my god, they are Palpatine.
Oh man, I wonder what that reminds me of.
Oh god, it reminds me of the prequels, and they were shit too.
Do it!
No, I'm talking about the Silence.
Yes, I was going to get to that. They are very similar to the Silence.
The Silence was shit too.
No, the Silence were better villains than these guys.
They eventually got to be shit.
Yeah, Time of the Doctor absolutely ruined them with one line. So good job there, Stephen Moffat. But I've ranted about that before. I'm not going to do it again.
We're not bashing Moffat today. We're bashing Whithouse.
That's true. So they can shoot lightning and painlessly kill their enemies, and they can generate these coral-like shields to protect themselves. Does them absolutely no good in the end. They can also make it appear that there are more of them than there are. Again, hello there, the Silence. We see you. They've hidden their numbers before in a very similar fashion. So this is just like the Silence Revisited, but not even as good.
We're going to get to that, trust me. Right, Kat?
Yeah.
Let's get to that right now. Let's talk, shall we, a little bit about how this episode resolved itself, because oh boy.
Okay, first off, I just want to mention something I did kind of like about the episode. Is the firefight just set entirely to Bill's little mantra to keep them from believing in the lie. And then the guy's walking gets shot, and you cut back to the whole violence and shit.
Yes,
that's a nice touch. It's kind of like when Whithouse did the blind sense thing, not the blind sense, like tremor sense bullshit in Before the Flood, but not as ridiculous. So
yeah,
it's a nice stylized little thing that works, and then you have some conflict, and then Narwhal. Okay, climax.
Yeah.
Or as Kat and I like to call it, Whithouse doesn't have a goddamn original idea in his skull.
He really doesn't.
Fred, I think you have something that you need to do.
Oh, that's right. Are we gonna? So we're gonna do this now?
Am I being set up here? I'm being set up here. Go ahead.
Doctor Who mirror alert. This episode mirrors the entirety of Rings of Akatan because Toby Whithouse doesn't have an original idea in his head.
I guess it does.
No, it's not a guess. It really does.
Now, and this is a thing that is wrong with the climax. Like, the climax, the episode itself, a lot of other things. It's cribbing a lot from other concepts and episodes that have worked in the past, but somehow Whithouse's shitty alchemy doesn't pull it off, and the episode is less than the sum of its parts.
Shitty alchemy, I like that.
So let's go over this a little, shall we, Kat?
Yes, let's.
Oh, God.
So, obviously we have to start with, there's a world, and it's ruled over by the sort of god thing. And the god thing also happens to be a mummy. Sound familiar so far? Good, because it really does. So, all the people of this world celebrate this god thing, and the good that it's brought to them. But they have to make sure that they don't do this one thing, or else they'll be taken away by the god.
Yes. It does sound... Now you put it in that way, it does sound remarkably similar.
Oh, it gets worse. Because, I wonder if this also sounds familiar. The Doctor tries to go up to the god and stop it doing what it's doing by giving itself to it. He goes in, he does what he can, and he absolutely fails because he doesn't have the right stuff. So then his companion steps up, who happens to have a dead mother, and she manages to do it by thinking about her dead mother.
Oh my god. How did I not see this comparison before?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, aren't you?
Bill's image of her mom is the fucking leaf.
Oh my god. You're right!
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. That is mind-blowing.
This is just an entire fucking retread of Rings.
Wow. I never thought of that. Like, I'm not playing that up for the podcast. I genuinely had not thought of that. That is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really fucking amazing and really fucking stupid. It's like even some of the set pieces look similar. Like they have the temple, which has a chair in it, which has a mummy in it.
Yeah.
In both fucking episodes.
You've just knocked me for 6 with this.
It's like the only real difference is that the one in Rings wasn't actually the bad guy. It turned out to be a giant fucking sun, but still.
Yeah, that's the one thing I think that is changed. But good gracious.
I know, right?
Oh.
It doesn't stop with Rings either, does it?
No.
No, you want me to go over some more besides Rings?
Well, I could think
Yes,
of one
please.
that I was reminded of a little bit.
Go ahead.
With the way that the Doctor is knocked out by attempting to do something, and then his companion or his friend steps in to do something that will absolutely kill them, and they make sure he's incapacitated so that he can't do anything to stop them. That's totally the Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead.
Oh, wow, really? I was thinking more Face the Raven, but yeah.
That too, yes.
Yeah, that too.
It didn't fucking work, which is complete bullshit. So.
Oh, yeah, but
Bill really should have died, but she didn't.
Well,
and we got comparisons to Lost of the Time Lords in there, and other stories I could probably think of.
And going back to that fucking scene, it reminds me a lot of Curse of Fenric, which is an old Sylvester McCoy story, where the resolution hinges on having to make the companion have doubt in the Doctor and trick them into thinking that they're bad.
Are you talking about the God Complex?
Oh, shit! Wait! Oh my god, are you telling me Toby Whithouse is doing shit all along? Just cribbing from other episodes?
It sounds like
but making it not as good? Oh my fucking lord.
Does this man have an original thought in his head?
That's what I keep saying! Fucking...
My god. How could you fuck up this badly?
I regret now trying to defend him last week. So, he's written this and that was good and that, that wasn't terrible. And...
Good, yes, but it was pretty good. But now in hindsight, once you see all this other shit, you start to have fucking self-doubt, don't you? You start to realize, well, it is just really, you can see the pattern of, he's just taking from this one. He's taking a little bit of Curse of Fenric, taking a little bit of Horns of Nymon, taking a little bit of Shining for some reason. Well, it's okay, but it's not like shitty alchemy.
Yeah.
All these things on their own, in their own context, were really stellar and great. You can see why someone would want to crib from them, but the cribbing is done in this horrific way that fucking just doesn't do it. Like going back to Rings. Okay. So he takes the resolution and concept of Rings, of Acton, yeah? Who is that going to please? People who didn't like Rings, and there's a lot of those because in 2013 it was voted the 9th worst story ever, which is bullshit, mind.
Yeah, I kind of liked it.
Yeah, but anyway, people who didn't like it, I know Kachiri hates the leaf, yeah? They're going to watch this episode and say, this is bullshit. They're just using the same goddamn power of love horseshit again, and I don't like that, and I don't like this episode. Whereas people who like Rings of Acton and think it's great are also going to look at this episode and say, this is bullshit. You're just taking an idea from a 4-year-old episode that worked better in that episode and doesn't really work as well here for whatever reason. It doesn't please anybody. So this is for.
And you've hit the nail on the head. Well, I didn't like it because it's another goddamn Power of Love ending.
That's not the flaw of it to me. The bigger flaw is that it's just a rip in a less interesting episode. I think it was seeded well enough with Bill talking to her mom and all that and thinking it and showing that it does, in fact, tamper with the monk's ability. It is very much like a Leaf thing where the potential of Clara's mom is what stops the old god, and the imaginary nature of Bill's mom in her head is what stops the monks. So that works for me.
Yeah, there's one thing I will give a pass to.
Despite the power levels.
There's one thing One thing about this I will give a pass to, and that's the fact that it was set up all the way back in the pilot.
There you go.
I like that. I wasn't just being kind, I was saving the world when the Doctor gave Bill the photographs of her mother.
You know what's funny that makes me realize this? There's a fan editor guy who does some things. He did a fan edit of the pilot, and he cut out the scene where Bill gets the pictures because he's like, oh, well, Bill doesn't ask him where he got those, so that was an unnecessary scene.
Whoops.
I mean, he's kicking himself in the ass now.
Whoops. It also gives an explanation of a sort for why Bill saw the photograph of her mother when she was dying, or thought she was dying in oxygen.
Because she has that mental thing in her head?
Well, I guess, but we the audience have somewhat of an explanation, albeit a kind of a weak one, as to why they actually did that. It's because the photograph of Bill's mother was an important plot point down the road.
Yeah, well, I mean, she talked to her mom in Knock Knock too with that same photo, so.
Yeah, and Knock.
They've
built this up. They've built this up, and we just didn't see it.
I will say, I wish they had done that a little bit more. Just like little sides, like, "All right, Mom, I'm going on another adventure. Wish me luck." You know, little things like that.
Yeah.
I think would have put a little more meat into this.
A bit more seeding. But I get it.
I'm just fed up of the power of love conquers the enemy type endings.
Well, I disagree with you in this case. My objection is the fact that it's a specific riff on a better episode and just less interesting here. But in the end, it is a lot like the Rings thing, where we both have different views on it, but we're coming to the same conclusion of it didn't fucking work. So who the hell is it for?
Yeah. And now that I've found out, thanks to you and Kat, about the comparison to Rings, I really don't like that either.
Yeah.
So I hate it on two levels. Good job, Whithouse.
Nice.
Another thing I didn't like about the whole the aftermath, where it's like the spell is broken and the humans start to see the delusion being lifted from their eyes, and we see one of them must potentially get grabbed and presumably beaten to death. But they missed the trick, didn't they? Because they didn't have them tear down one of the statues like in Iraq.
Yeah.
That would be some really nice imagery that they could have shown. Maybe
Whithouse was afraid of getting too political.
Yeah, actually, you could be right.
It's not like this entire season has been political or anything.
I know. That's Whithouse.
Doctor Who being political? No, you amaze me.
No. How dare Doctor Who get fucking political? This show has never gotten political before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, that doesn't hold up because the fucking when they go into the monk transmitter thing, he calls it fake news central.
Yes.
That's political.
And Trump is shown on the little globe. Trump is shown on the screen when they're trying to bring back the true history of the world.
Oh God!
So that is 2 Donald Trump references in 2 episodes.
Can we go back to the Monks world where that didn't happen? Because that's not very good.
You in the simulation where it's just some brown-haired guy?
Yes, please.
Christ almighty. And it gets worse at the ending. Well, I don't know about worse, but it still continues to be bad at the ending.
Oh, the whole, 1 in 7 billion thing?
That's horrific! You're a credit to your race, Bill. Like, fuck off. That's not how the Doctor views humanity. That's not how anybody should view humanity. And fuck off.
I just picturing now all the people that say you were talking up Clara too much as being like the saviour of the world are just laughing at you now.
Oh, hell, fucking, that's different. You know it.
I know it. They don't.
Well, you all out there laughing at me should know it because I don't need you laughing at me. Toby Whithouse is laughing at us all. Come on.
Yeah.
Open your. Yeah.
Let's wrap this up. Maybe so we don't have to talk about this again for a while.
Well, so the real lie of the land was that Toby Whithouse could make a good episode of television.
Yeah. Basically.
So are we going to go into our big thoughts?
I think we'll let Kat start off with this. Your overall thoughts on Lie of the Land?
Oh my fucking god! How could they drop the ball this badly? We had such an interesting setup and such, interesting ideas that could have been there and they weren't, and I'm so disappointed, and it just makes me sad. Ugh. And it's like you guys said, the beginning was pretty cool. I liked that. And then as soon as it got to the regeneration scene, the fake out regeneration scene, I just... I'm going to tell you guys a little story. Have you guys heard of the movie Split?
No.
Heard of, not watched.
So, I'm watching a movie, I forget which one, and I'm sitting through the trailers, and a really interesting trailer comes on. And it has this really interesting, amazing scene of these girls getting kidnapped by a strange guy, and they're in a tunnel of some sort in a room, and they're scared, they don't know what's going on. They peek under the door and they see some, female shoes. And they're like, oh, help us! And they open the door and it's the guy who kidnapped them in a dress. Oh. And he's like, don't worry, girls, he's not here right now, you guys are safe. And then, what pops up but a fucking credit for M. Night Shyamalan? Oh! And everything went fucking downhill from it.
I mean, it kind of went downhill. That description kind of went downhill for me with guy in a dress, because I don't trust Hollywood to handle that with a 10-foot pole. But yeah, M. Night Shyamalan's a kicker.
It's even worse. It turns out he has split personalities.
Well, I guessed that from the title.
Yeah, so I was really interested. I was thinking oh, maybe it'll be a really cool kidnapping thing. There's a guy in a dress. Oh fuck, it's him. That's essentially what the regeneration scene did. The regeneration scene was the M. Night Shyamalan credit.
You could say that for the credit sequence. It's like, we got a really cool scene with the doctor talking up the monks and how they're saviors mankind. The credits roll up. Oh fuck, it's Toby Whithouse. We're doomed.
No, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast or not. I think I did last week. But 2 seconds after I wrote the Peril at the End of the World thing, I said, oh, I'm pretty hopeful for the next episode. I found out it was Toby Whithouse and I lost my shit.
Yeah.
And it turns out I was right to do so. Is that all from you, Kat? Can I go in mine?
I have one last thing to say. The characters, they were still pretty good. They still had to work with this dialogue, but they were still pretty good for the most part. I still wanted to see more Missy. I still wanted to see more Bill. I still wanted to see more Dr. Nardole and interactions and everything. Just the story really fucking fails.
Yeah.
And, this is preemptive because there's still a couple of episodes left to go, but this is my In the Forest of the Night of the series.
I thought it might be.
Unless someone really fucks up down the line, this has to be my worst episode of the entire series.
There's still 4 episodes to go. It could happen.
It could happen, but I highly doubt it.
It might happen next week. I hope to God it doesn't happen next week. But anyway, Fresno, you've talked at length on this, but your overall thoughts on The Lie of the Land?
Well, I was going to say something much like Kat says, but now I have to one-up her. And this is going to be a bold claim, and one I freely admit I may retract down the line. But this is, I think, for me, the single worst episode of the Peter Capaldi era.
Jesus.
I will take In the Forest of the Night. It has some interesting stuff. It has some interesting little whimsical ideas to it. I will take Kill the Moon because it has the clock. I will even take Before the Fucking Flood because at least it has, I don't know, something in it. But Before the Flood fucks up a less interesting concept than Lie of the Land's interesting concepts that fucks up.
In response to that, I have to say those other episodes you mentioned, they could probably be fixed. The only way to fix this one is to just completely redo it. So, we've got an episode that holds the audience in contempt for coming up with interesting theories in favor of his own bland fake-out, ha-ha, gotcha bullshit. We have the Doctor being absolutely horrific to his companion and disdainful of humanity in general,
we have Michelle Gomez, who does basically almost nothing other than raise a plot point that gets immediately. And then we have a climax that rips off from a bunch of better episodes while managing to not only not please the fans of this episode, not please the people who disliked this episode, but also not please the people who did like those episodes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't follow up on any of the interesting things presented in Pyramid at the End of the World. The only real consent thing is the symbolic idea that Bill has to be the one to undo it because she's the link. That's literally the only thing that I wanted from the episode that actually shows up, is the symbolism of it. And even that is undercut by instead, let's do Rings of Akaten!
Yeah.
It was a halfway functional episode of television that, as I rewatched it, as I took in more critique of it, my opinion lowered and lowered and lowered until I am indeed confident in saying it is the worst so far of Series 10, and I will make the dubious claim that it is the worst of the Capaldi era for me. It is garbage. And the only good thing I can say about it is that it's well acted. And Peter Capaldi makes good faces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I'm going to jump in real fast and say I kind of agree with him now, because at least in The Force and then I tried something new.
Well, so did this, but it just failed in every single respect. But, yeah, my overall thoughts on Light of the Land? I thought it was brilliant. Oh, no, sorry, no, let's bring us back a 10. No, sorry, no, this was awful.
I love you. Wait,
yeah,
one more
this was
awful. If I can interject. Can I interject with one more thing? There wasn't even that much good mirror imagery.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, no, of course there wasn't, because the whole entire fucking episode was a giant mirror.
So, on my first watch, I didn't mind it so much, apart from the two scenes we've raved about consistently, the false regeneration and the resolution to the whole plot. And on the rewatch, I just felt like I was being constantly laughed at. And it shares that problem with Before the Flood, that the audience is being talked down. Now, this did have its own strong moments. I quite like the interactions with Missy, although again, Missy and Bill teaming up would have been even more interesting. I quite like the opening montage, the opening setup with the Doctor working with the monks, although they then crap all over that. And I think Bill, in particular, comes up very strongly in this one. She shoots the Doctor without much hesitation, which is a very brave thing to do, because she doesn't know about regeneration as far as we know. She thinks she's killing her friend, but she thinks that, it's better to kill him than to have him work with the monks and nothing will ever get fixed. If he's out of the picture, maybe somebody down the line will fix it, just not them. So Bill comes across pretty well in this one. Missy, yeah, as you said, the actors work pretty well what they've been given. It's just the plot, and I feel like this episode was a victim of its own hype. Because Extremists came along, and it was brilliant. It really was brilliant. It's still my favourite episode of the series, even after this. For me, Extremists, as a standalone thing, is the best thing we've had in Series 10 so far. Then you have Pyramid End of the World, which was decent, had an amazing ending to set up this week, and then this week came along, and as Kat has said, the ball got dropped so hard you could hear it. It's not completely terrible, but it could have been so much better. There, I've said all I have to say about this.
I will just interject real quick. Before the Flood, I didn't feel like Before the Flood was laughing at you. It was just talking down to you. There's a difference. Like, Before the Flood it assumes you're stupid. Light of the Land just is actually holding you in contempt for thinking anything other than the bland bullshit is going to happen.
Yeah. So after that rather big disappointment, I feel that we need a palate cleanser next week. So let's hope that Mark Gatiss delivers, because next week we've got the Empress of Mars.
This could be good. I think there's potential here.
Well, the last time that Gatiss got his hands on the Ice Warriors, I enjoyed it.
You know, I think actually Cold War, Cold War might be the best episode with the Ice Warriors in them. Maybe the only one that could really rival it is Curse of Peladon, right, for me.
Yeah.
So, I trust Marquez with this. It's Victorian people, which that's sort of his bread and butter. This is the sort of thing you get Marquez to do.
I think Marquez gets a bad reputation, and I don't think it's particularly deserved.
His episodes are fine. I have no real problem.
The Crimson Horror was terrific. Sorry, The Crimson Aura was terrific.
Thank you.
Sleep No More Cat really enjoyed, and actually I have to say, the more I watch it, the more I tend to agree with her.
Sleep No More at least has some interesting ideas and twists to it. I will give it that.
Yeah, again, he tried something new.
Yeah.
But the synopsis for this one is interesting. So the Doctor, Bill, and Nardole arrive on Mars and find themselves in an impossible conflict between the Ice Warriors and Victorian soldiers. As the Martian hive awakens around them, the Doctor faces a unique dilemma. This time the humans, not the Ice Warriors, are the invaders. When Earth is invading Mars, whose side is he on?
The Ice Warriors?
Possibly. As I say, I'm intrigued. I'm seriously intrigued, and I'm ready to be impressed again after this week.
With respect to your country, Rainiac, fuck imperialist Victorian era.
It's fine.
I mean, this is the kind of shit that we punched in the fucking face in Thin Ice.
We shouldn't hide away from our history. We should acknowledge our history. We should try not to repeat it.
And then punch it in the face.
But acknowledging that it was bad is fine, and hiding it away from people, in my opinion anyway, is not the way to go. But plenty of other people disagree.
We have a lady Ice Warrior in this one, like a nice queen.
I believe that's the first time.
Ice Lady?
Ice Princess, Ice Queen.
I mean, I know that the higher ranked Ice Warrior, so Ice Empress? I don't know what the terminology is.
Well, it's the Empress of Mars, so I guess the Empress of the Ice Warriors.
That's an interesting idea, involving stuff we hadn't really seen before. Because
hey, as long as he didn't write the Torchwood episode with the Cyber Lady, we'll be fine.
He didn't.
Oh, no.
He didn't.
Oh, no, that's Chris Chibnall, who's taking over next year.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
So, yeah,
he wrote The Hounds of Baskerville for Sherlock. I like that episode.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but after this week, I do not. I'm cautiously optimistic. Oh, my God, something I've forgotten to talk about this episode and the whole Missy scene. I don't know if any of you have seen the last series of Sherlock, the full series of Sherlock.
No. I'm still on season 2 or 3. Don't spoil anything.
I won't. I'll leave that for dead in the water where it belongs. So, thank you for this. Thank you to listening to this edition of the We Hate Toby Whithouse podcast. We have been, have we been reviewing the live line, which we've been shitting all over it? I'm not quite sure, but I'd like to thank my guests anyway, FreezingInferno and Kat, for giving me their time.
No problem.
I don't know how he did it, but somehow I hate Toby more than I hate Moffat. I don't know how he did that.
Is it because
by being more shit?
Is it because Moffat can actually write good stuff?
Yeah. I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah.
Oh my
God.
I
think you have the proof, don't you, with Extremis and then this. With the exact same villains, and yet the Moffat story was 100 times better. Anyway, we need to wrap this up. So yeah, thank you to my guests for putting up with me and for giving me their time. Thank you to you, the audience, for listening to this. And you've been listening to Doctor Who Reviews, your number one source for Doctor Who Press Covfefe. Until next week, bye for now.
I hate you.